Scorecard is live on your screens once again on Citi TV. My name is Benjamin Nketia. Welcome to the show. It's been a really good week of sports. Premier League action, Ghana Premier League action, the CAF competitions, La Liga, Champions League, depending on where you belong. It's either been agony or it's been elation for you. In the Premier League, Arsenal and Liverpool returned to winning ways. There was FA Cup action this weekend. Manchester City were up against Chelsea in what was a really interesting game. In the end, Chelsea will be disappointed in themselves for not being able to drag themselves to the FA Cup final. Today served up even more drama when Manchester United took on Coventry. Some controversy as well in the end. It was United winning that particular game on penalties. El Clasico has just ended and it was just as dramatic as every other installation of the Clasico. Guess who was at the center of the storm? Jude Bellingham. A lot to talk about on the show. Dreams FC as well, holding Zamalek to a draw all the way in Cairo. So there's a lot to talk about on the show. Let's do a quick turnaround. When we come back, I'll introduce my guests and then we'll get talking. Welcome back to Scorecard here on Citi TV. Coach Christopher Nimley, Edwin Kwakofi. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ben.
Really good weekend for me. I mean, Liverpool won. Real Madrid have been doing a good thing during the week, so
You've really enjoyed the week.
It's been a real week. It's been a real week.
For some of us, it's been mixed.
I'll get to that in a bit. I really want to know how you felt about that City game because I'm not even a Chelsea fan and I was ripping my hair out. I mean, the little that I have. Actually, let's talk about Dreams FC before we even get into the highlights. They went all the way to Cairo to hold Zamalek to a draw, goalless. Really impressive result. I didn't expect it. I thought that best case scenario in this game, probably a 1-0 defeat for them, and then maybe they'll try and claw it back. But they've managed to get this all-important one. Coach, let me start with you.
Yeah, they've done very well. To be honest with you, we did say something about them on Sports Panorama, and I was of the view that, look, it's about what sort of mental expectation are they going into the game with.
Yeah.
We all trusted Mr. Zito, Coach Zito, Karim Zito.
Tactician Zito.
Absolutely brilliant. For me, he's again the main man. He's shown that once he's given the chance to work with these boys every single day, he can get his message across. And the players themselves must be very proud to have done this. But hey, I don't see this as 50% of the job completed. I see this as 20% of the job completed. The reason being is that the away goal rule stays applied.
Yeah.
Zamalek know very well.
In fact, I think the advantage is on their side now.
Exactly. They know very well that for every goal they score here
Dreams
in
FC
Ghana,
will have to score 2.
Dreams will have to score 2 to qualify. That makes the situation even more difficult to navigate. But we are appealing to the people of this country for the very first time. If the game, I don't know whether the game itself will be played here.
It's
It's been confirmed.
Yeah, it's been confirmed.
Okay. If the game is going to be played at Barbara Sports Stadium, then we expect Ghanaians to go and support Dreams FC because they are doing something wonderful. I hear that this is the last edition of the CAF Confederation Cup.
In this current format,
in this current format. Maybe Ghana as a country, we're the alpha and we are destined to be the omega. You remember Asante Kotoko played in the Virgin edition of this particular tournament and has won. Maybe it is destined for Ghana to close the chapter on the CAF Confederation Cup. But for that to become a reality, we need to go out there to support Dreams FC. We can only hope and believe in the tactical know-how of Karim Zito and the protagonists themselves, the players. But look, I watched some 40 minutes of the game, and I think this is the best tactical discipline I have seen of a Ghanaian club side away from home. For them to have be that disciplined, no player complicating issues, go down back to the basics and just do the simple things. Under pressure, you see the mistake ahead of you, you let go of it. Once it goes, everybody gets into position and we are behind the ball and we are defending as a block. I was so impressed, and credit must be given to Karim Zito, Coach Dormon, and everybody who is doing something wonderful to make sure that Dreams FC goes out there to make Ghana proud. Like I said, it's just 20% of the job done.
Yeah.
The 80% will be in Bavaria. When are they playing it? Next week, Sunday?
Yeah, next week, Sunday.
28th.
Next week, Sunday.
I mean, just to continue from where Coach ended, Alali came to Ghana and beat Mediama, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So the Egyptians are very capable of not just scoring here, they are capable of winning down here.
Exactly.
I mean, we've all yapped about Dreams FC's away form, but they are playing at a place that has not, I don't think their home form has been resounding as we'd want it to be. How difficult a task is this, and what do they do to navigate this?
Look, actually, I think in the CAF Confed Cup, their home form has been pretty
resounding.
Good. Yeah, pretty good. Throughout the group stages, they didn't concede a single, like, they conceded one goal.
Yeah, one goal.
They didn't lose a single game in the group stages at home. And then in the quarterfinal against Stade Malien, obviously, they got the results they needed to go through to the semi-final. I think what Dreams need to do is, fine, they are good at home in the CAF Confed Cup. But they are facing a team that is really good in Zamalek. So you don't approach it as you did the previous games. In the previous games, they had the advantage. They knew they were going to win the game. They knew they were the better side. Against Zamalek, you are clearly the underdog, even at home. So it's important to keep your calm, keep it cool in the first few minutes, because I think those minutes are crucial. Once they navigate those first 15, 20, first 30 minutes without conceding, then you start building, then you get your players, your offensive players into the game, then you try and get some goals to seal the deal. But what the performance in Cairo reminded me of was the first 30 minutes of Mediama versus Al Ali, or first 20 minutes. They were brilliant defensively, very solid. And as coach has said, the tactical awareness for one player, if he's moving forward, he knows that he has players behind him to cover for him. And that is the tactical awareness I want to see in the second leg. They can't abandon that just because they're at home, they have fans behind them, they have the home advantage. They need to keep that discipline. They need to keep it for the second leg. But I think we need to issue a call. And coach has said it, fine. Ghanaians need to go and support Dreams at the Baba Stadium. But I don't think that is enough. We need to issue a call to the GFA, to the sports ministry, to the NSA who are in charge of the Baba.
They need to rally.
People.
It must be an intentional thing.
We have
rally people to go and support the team.
Not just rally, take people, bus people. You
must be very intentional about
political rallies where people are bussed to venues.
This is the time to bus people to the stadium.
Get to Kreku alone. With the cash he's got. He goeth to the university, the Katanga, and then
Unity Hall.
Unity Hall. He can carry the whole. Those two.
He can carry the whole hall
to the
stadium. True.
Such things must be done, and it can be done.
True.
It can be done.
So we, like the guys have said, the Ghana Football Association, the Sports Ministry, the NSA, in what capacity you can help. We need a full house for that Zamalek game, because Dreams FC, I think if they can make it to the final, they can win it.
They'll win it.
It's looking like a trophy they can win. And so let's make sure we make it happen. Let's check out the highlights of the game itself, and let's see what Dreams FC were up to all the way in Cairo. So Dreams FC spent a lot of the time soaking pressure, really, and staving off the Egyptians, but it was a good game all in all. 0-0 it ended. They'll come back to Ghana and then see if they can complete the job. Let's move on to the Ghana Premier League, and let's talk about Accra Hearts of Oak. It was a really interesting weekend. They lost by 2-0 to Lagos Cities, and it's been a really rough patch. So Coach Ouattara, after overseeing a few good games, I think his first 3 games, it's not really gone well. And fans of the club were really upset. He actually made time to go explain himself to the fans in a video that has gone viral, talking about how the team is in a rebuild phase, and these are the materials he came in to meet. But let's get to the highlights of the game itself. We'll come back in studio and discuss. So at the end of 90 minutes, it was Dreams FC, no, not Dreams FC, Lagos Cities. They will confused me a little. So, that game was played at Deo. Lagos Cities handling business in that particular game. Coach, I'm sure you have a lot to say based on the goals that you've seen them concede and the general nature of that game.
You see, we did a show, and then I said certain things about Richard Atta to get him to work on his body shape, and that video went viral. It went all the way. I had people calling me from the States, and you guys said, look, I gave a perfect description of the young man. That if he wants to stay as and continue his profession as a goalkeeper, clearly he cannot be looking like that. And that gingered him. We got him to do a bit more training, and then he got trained. I think he's gone back to default. He's gone back to default setting. What sort of shape is that? What sort of shape is that?
It was misbehaving again.
Absolutely, because it's like the 2 goals he conceded.
Yeah.
A very mobile,
no agility. Literally,
agile goalkeeper. Just makes it's just a simple
he has
catch.
no agility.
Just watch him. If only we could go back. Saw him when the ball went into the net. Look at the way he just Charlie.
He rolled.
You see, Hearts of Oak is not a serious thing. To be honest with you, as to why he's still been given a looking.
You think Hearts should have? Honestly,
what?
Hearts should have moved past Richard at
I would have. As if I'm the head coach, he's gone. Because he's still there because 1 or 2 big men thinks he should
his
be
people.
There. That is why he's there. Because performance-wise, he's not performing. He's a very good.
I mean, you can't take Atta to Africa.
Can you imagine? With this shape. Look, just look at his stomach. And look at his behind, his back part. Look at that. What sort of behavior is that? No, don't laugh. When you laugh, you make me laugh. When you mad?
I don't even know what to say again.
No, because you see, this is it's a serious business.
It is.
Because look, he virtually got the head coach to tactically explain to the supporters why things didn't go well. All because of, look at the second goal too. He can't come down. Look at the header. He should have just picked up the ball. But in coming down, his stomach would not allow him to come down. What is he doing there? Look, we watched the game. The only maybe thing you can talk about is the bad nature of the pitch. Last week we sat here, we did that. We said the same thing over and over again. It makes it extremely difficult for the players to express themselves. But the Legon City players also played on the pitch. After all, that's what we've got. That is where the people managing our game think that we should play our football with all the, what's the name of the people who try and make sure that the things are done well? The club licensing people. They've approved that venue. That is a venue that can host.
And I feel like Star Times as well are also sleeping on the job with regards to the production because
they've not got anybody to compete with that.
Look, the markings were barely visible.
Nobody could see that. It seems they had only 2 or 1 camera.
Yeah. And I don't remember a time when I'm watching a football game and the camera is focused on one, is locked on one winger running down the flank.
What sort of behavior is that? Look, it is what it is.
Anyway.
If they look at what Dreams FC, what they are doing for Ghana, look, we need to up our game. We need to up the level. Up the level.
True.
So that when our teams go out there and they are being required to perform, they'll have no excuse.
Let's take a break here on the show, actually. We'll do a quick turnaround. When we come back, we'll get to Europe. There's a lot to show you as far as the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Spanish La Liga are concerned. So stay with us here on Scorecard. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Scorecard here on Citi TV. Let's wrap it up with the local stuff. Asante Kotoko were up against league leader Zamalek at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Kotoko have been on an 8-game winless streak before this game. They held a crunch meeting with Otunfo during the week to iron out a few of those issues, and it looked like it was successful, or at least did yield some temporary results. Let's check out the highlights of that particular game. We'll come back in studio and we'll touch on it briefly. So Asante Kotoko picking up 3 points there to give them some respite. Edwin, let me come to you. Very controversial penalty there.
Controversial penalty. It shouldn't have been given. Obviously, you could tell that the attacker kicked the defender. It wasn't the other way around.
What are they looking at?
I don't know. The referee was right there. George Vomawo, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Vomawo. He was right there, looking at the tackle. There's no way, as a referee, if you are looking right at it, you call that as a penalty. But it's been given. It was scored by Morrison.
Yeah.
For Asante Kotoko, it was an important win. After all the talk and the meetings with.
Are you in support of that meeting? Did you think they needed to have a crisis meeting with the patron?
Look, it was necessary. Given everything that had been said about the coach, Nate Ogum, the players, the issues that had been talked about on the side, that's what happens when you don't win games. These stories about players going to certain places, about the coach not treating the players right, all of these will come out if you are not winning games. So this was a crucial win. It was a crucial win. But we heard from our man in Kumasi about what the players thought of Ogum, and that some of the younger players were not happy with the way he spoke to them after games, that he was overly critical.
Like a lecturer talking to his students.
Yes.
But look, even that, it should come with some decent respect.
Exactly. I mean, lecturers speak to students in
a very respectful manner.
In a professional manner.
I get it. But the main thing is you are playing for Asante Kotoko. People expect the best from you, the best performances every single week. However young you are expected to give 100%. Things might not go well in terms of results, in terms of how things go on the pitch. But at least we need to see that you are giving all the efforts that you can give. And sometimes you don't get that from the Kotoko players. So I can understand why the coach would be upset with them, would talk to them harshly. And Dalad was saying that he understands because he's been with Ogum before in the title-winning season. So he can take such criticism. But the younger players,
they don't understand.
They don't understand it. So it's time for them either to step up or for the manager to meet them halfway and get them to understand the philosophy. It's not that he is being overly critical. He wants them to reach a certain level, which they are not at yet. That's all it is.
Yeah, just to add to that, look, if you're a player and you're playing for Kumasi Asante Kotoko or any football team in the world, you don't say because your manager has spoken to you in a manner you don't want, you want to down tools. But at the end of the month, you go take your money.
Yep.
You go take your money. You don't say because I've decided because of the very harsh manner in which my manager spoke to me, when it comes to my pay, you can slash it 50%. Nobody does that. After all, when you were not winning, who were being asked to be sacked? It's the manager. So the manager knows that his job is on the line. He cannot be pampering you when there are games to be won and you are not winning them. Understand clearly, there has to be a clear balance. There are times you have to pull on the hairdryer and address every player in that dressing room in a certain way. There are times to, because you want them to do a certain job for you, you need to encourage, you need to motivate, you need to show that fatherly figure and get them to believe that you believe in them. That is why you are giving them the chance to make you proud. So it is a give and take affair. Are they saying Nate Ogum has always been bashing them? They should come and tell us. When he also pampered.
They say that the players will hold a players-only meeting with the great king after the Summertex game.
I don't think that is proper. You see, once
I thought that was very unnecessary. After everybody had been in one meeting to clear the air.
Let them complete the season. After the season, put up a proper organogram and get the team to function. That's what the referee Vomavo. What is the name? Vomavo.
Yeah.
He has to be suspended.
No, the FA need to take a look at him.
They need to take it seriously because
that is an extremely
we
bad.
can't say because Kotoko, the biggest team in Ghana, have been struggling. So by all means possible, we should get them to win.
That's just unacceptable.
That is unacceptable.
Let's move on to the foreign front, and this is what Chelsea fans will not be happy about. I'm not happy on your behalf because this was a game that was Chelsea's to lose, like Coach kept saying all throughout our broadcast. It was at Wembley, it was the FA Cup semi-final, and it was against a tired Manchester City that had played in midweek 120 minutes against Real Madrid. Check how it broke down. I am a big fan of crossing the ball from the baseline low and hard on the ground. It almost always ends up in something good. Anyway, let's talk about this game. Chelsea really had this game up there for the taking. And once again, I find myself talking about Nicholas Jackson because I have seen some of the worst finishing and some of the worst football this season being displayed by this young. In fact, I think that he's responsible for this defeat.
Look, of the 3 meetings with Manchester City, I think this result is the most difficult to take. Because of all of them, this is the one where Chelsea absolutely should have won. And there are a couple of reasons why they didn't. The first is the most obvious, poor finishing, poor decision making. Jackson is the biggest culprit, no doubt about it. So many chances. And as a striker, look, I'd like to defend him and say he's young, but young strikers would take that. Any other young strikers would take at least one of those chances that he got. So he is completely at fault. But it's not just him. So many bad decisions from Chelsea players. In the first half, Malo Gusto, there was a ball he should have put across a lot quicker, a lot better. He didn't. Cole Palmer, there were a couple of opportunities for him to put the ball in quickly. He didn't. Conor Gallagher, the same thing. Noni Madueke, the same thing. Enzo Fernandez. There were so many.
The one that even annoyed me was the Chilwell.
Chilwell, exactly.
That was
Chilwell.
in the dying seconds of the game.
Cross
the ball across and
Sterling
let
was
Sterling.
clearly ahead. Just put the goal and score.
It's almost like he didn't trust in his ability to make the pass.
Attempted.
He is a professional.
And he's left-footed.
player.
And the ball was
He's
on the left
left-footed. Raheem Sterling was all on his own. At least put the ball across. If it's cleared, if he misses it, fine. That's it. The second reason why Chelsea lost. Look, the Liverpool-Tottenham game, that was the worst decision I have ever seen, at least this season. This is the second worst refereeing decision I've seen this season, in my opinion.
Who was the man? Anthony? Was it?
No, it was
this man,
the
popular man. I forgot it. I'll remember his name.
I'll fish out that name for you or who you're looking for.
How do you not give a penalty for this? How is this not a penalty? The VAR, how do they see this and deem it to be okay? That was as clear a penalty as you would ever see. And we are seeing a lot of these inconsistent decisions. Today, we are probably not going to talk about it. The Nottingham Forest-Everton game. There were three.
Oh, boy.
It was such
Three
a bad
penalties.
It was such a bad game.
3 clear penalties
so
that were
shameful.
not given on one player. And Nottingham Forest were so upset, they put out
a statement,
which I think was a ridiculous tweet,
and
but
it was
absolutely necessary.
Ashley Young on Hawkson Odre, Young on Odre, Young. I mean, the same thing kept happening. Charlie,
So
people.
inconsistent. The refereeing has been shambolic. But I don't want to blame the referees for this decision, for this loss. I think the players, they should have won this game for Chelsea. The missed chances, the indecisive play in the final third. This was Chelsea's best chance to beat Man City this season, and they failed to take it. Another trophy missed, another opportunity to clear the noise around the team, all the noise that you have built this successful team, not winning anything, bad league position, poor performances. This was an opportunity to get to the final of the FA Cup. In the FA Cup final against Man United or Coventry, Chelsea were favourites for that.
True.
And you are facing a Man City team, as you said, that had been put through the ringer by Real Madrid, that had lost a Champions League quarter-final.
They were
to
emotionally, mentally,
drained,
physically
drained.
Yeah.
A big opportunity to beat Manchester City, and they blew it.
Good.
Yeah, for me, I'll just add a little. I think tactically, Mauricio Pochettino again showed that he has what it takes to match Pep Guardiola. All he needed from his players was to go and execute the job. Because, look, we did the game on radio, and I was overly confident. I told you that
this was Chelsea's game to lose.
There was no way. I just couldn't see how Man City was going to win the game because of what they had gone through on Wednesday and what Chelsea themselves have taken them through in the previous 2 games that they've played. I was always of the view that Chelsea have got the players to worry Man City, especially because they have the ability to pass through the Man City press on the transition. And therefore, they will definitely expose Man City when they decide to attack. Nicolas Jackson alone had 3 1v1 situations with the goalkeeper. He cannot tell me. Yes, he's young, but what I do know from young strikers, their adrenaline level will compel them to at least shoot at goal. We didn't see that one in the first in the highlight, but the clearest of chances in the first half was the one that he got put through on goal by Enzo Fernandez, and all the Man City defenders were behind him. Rather, he decided to go past it. Now, once you go, put your left foot through it. Just hit it.
I'm not sure what he was doing.
I don't know what. Then the goal was there. You went, then you turned from the goal and came back and passing the ball to who? And what annoys me, anytime he finishes, he looks into the sky.
He looks confused. Like he can't believe he just missed a chance.
Can you imagine that? Look, like I said, I've said it before the season, or during the season, Chelsea will not achieve anything because they don't have a proper number 9. I'm hoping that Mauricio Pochettino, once he's now given the chance to stay and then do his own diagnosis of this Chelsea team, he will make signings that will solve the existing problem and make them very competitive next season. Anything apart from that, if I'm the manager, if I am him, and he's not given the chance to tell Todd Bowley the players he should buy, and Todd Bowley, if he's listening, if he's watching, those Chelsea supporters who can get the message across to him, he should listen to the coach and just address the problems in the team. My issue is get a striker, sort out your centre-back pair, and then see if Rich James cannot become who we all believe. I think on form, on fitness, he's the best right back in the world. But if he cannot recover fully from that injury, get a proper right back who would then play like Rich James, go get Victor Osimhen. I think he's the one they need. Show Napoli the money. If you can pay over £100 million from Enzo and Caicedo, 120, 150, go and give it to Napoli. Bring Osimhen, and you'll be a better off team.
Well, Chelsea, they've laid out the blueprints for you. Let's go to another game that also served up some drama. It was Manchester United in the second semi-final against Coventry. Regulation time was very dramatic. It looked like Coventry had won the game right at the death in extra time. Some way, somehow, VAR came to the rescue of United. They took it to penalties and won it in dramatic style. Let's get the highlights. So Rasmus Højlund showing composure to score that all-important penalty, taking United to the FA Cup final. So we have a Manchester Derby FA Cup final in the second season running. Man United would definitely want to win this. Coach, what do we have on the tactical board?
They were very lucky. Truth be told, you don't throw away a 3-0 lead against Coventry City. And the manner in which the goal, Man United considered those goals completely unpardonable. Look, they should actually thank Andre Onana. Because at 3-3, he made a top world-class save, point-blank save. But for him, I think United would have exited the FA Cup. So let's go through. We are going to go through all the goals, not necessarily all the goals. This is the Man United first goal. Look at Scott McTominay. He started the ball. But I think the most important player in this goal was Diogo Dalot. I think what he did, which every fullback should keep learning, is the fact that, watch him here. You see, this is Diogo Dalot. This is Dalot. At this moment, he was not so much active in the ball, but he got himself in an active position by giving Garnacho the option. Look at his movement. He's going round Garnacho, and the Coventry player should have tracked him down, the one closer to him. He didn't do that. And the fullback was contemplating to get closer to Garnacho. Now they're the path. Look at the delivery. Straight in between. Like you said, you are a fan of
big fan.
Crosses, baseline cross.
Hard across the ground.
What defenders don't like, look at this again. What defenders don't like is the fact they don't like the ball hit in between their goalpost and themselves. They want to be behind the ball. Defenders don't like being in front of the ball. Their goalpost is there and the ball is in between, because at times, most often than none, they end up conceding an own goal. So credit must be given to Diogo Dalot for the diagonal move, or for the movement around Garnacho to bring himself into play, and the delivery was spot on. Again, Scott McTominay started the move. Look at when he gave the ball to Garnacho, he decided to. That is what he's noted for. He wanted to be at the end of the move. And look at where he was. Look at, you see, it isn't that most people don't like Marcus Rashford. You see, but if you look at him here, what is he doing there as a left winger?
Arriving late.
Absolutely not interested in what
trying to arrive late.
I think his movement.
It looks like he's at a slow
his
jog.
Movement should be here. That should be. Let me take the line again. His movement should be here. That is him. Look at what he's looking at. Completely unnecessary. Move diagonally into the box. Look at McTominay. If Rashford was moving, he should get the McTominay Brilliant goal by Austin. This is what you call a team goal, and credit must be given to United. At this point, they were cruising, absolutely in charge. Then, Capito, is it Capito? No.
Maguire.
The Maguire's goal is the second one. Watch that again. Capito, we all know. You see, again, on the Coventry team, anytime Man United has a set piece and Maguire is in the team, he's the only natural target. The only other target at this point in the air will be Carlos Casemiro. And if you look at the height of the Coventry players, I was shocked. They allowed Maguire to have that free blast of a header.
Look at the height in there.
Look at the height. And here, at this moment, you can look out, they're all doing zonal marking. You don't zone mark. I've always said that on a set piece, the team awarded the set piece has a player going to stand to take the piece. That makes it what? 10v9. Agreed? Now, if you position two of your strikers there, it holds another two of the team who has the free kick players far away from the target. Now, what then happens? In terms of numbers, the defending team, most often than not, on corner kicks, have the advantage in terms of numbers. So as to how they allow Harry Maguire to have this free header, look at it again. Look at Maguire there. He's free. Nobody's marking him. Bam, into the back of the net. You don't do that. But what Maguire did so well was to return the ball back to where it came from. And that gave the goalkeeper no chance whatsoever. Again, at this moment, they were cruising. And every Man United supporter, like Bernard Abeku, who were watching the game with Bernard.
Not you?
No, not me, of course. Like Bernard Abeku, you see that at this moment he was overly excited. Bernard, he was telling me, this one is all Manchester United final. Then the Bruno Fernandes's goal. I think, look, take it or leave it. You may hate Bruno, you may like him. But look, he picks up the ball in the middle of the park.
Starts the move and then makes the run into the box.
Rashford gave the ball away. It was a bad touch, and then he just went in there and then.
I only have one problem with Bruno Fernandes. It's like he's almost under pressure to pass the ball all the time.
Yes.
But minus stats, I think he gets very unfairly criticized by the United fan base.
If any proper United fan base, I have exempted myself. Who chooses to criticize Bruno Fernandes, then that United fan is not a genuine
proper fan.
Because this man, since the day he walked into
he's literally been United's best player to date.
True. Look, can you make mention of the one signing post Sir Alex Ferguson era who's walked into United's team and has always been the most important player? It's been Bruno Fernandes and no other player.
True.
So for me, he's indeed the main man. He hates to lose football games. At times when the team is not performing, it tends to get to him. Now let's go to when the whole thing started again. Where are the goals for
Sims goal one?
Sims goal one.
Sims goal one.
Yeah.
Look, it is good to be a centre back. I'm going to pause it here first. Look, Man United had only one fit centre back, and that was Harry Maguire. So whoever was asked to play alongside Maguire, that person is going to learn on the job.
True.
So Maguire, being the specialist in the position, should take charge. When I say take charge, I don't expect him to be moving away more than 10 yards away from his central defensive partner when United is not in possession of the ball. That is elementary. That is kindergarten. If there is a back four, the distance in between every center or the back four cannot be more than 10 yards. You have this 10, 10, 10. At times, they're even asked to close it and stay within the area of the 18-yard box. But everybody watch Maguire here. When I roll this, look at where he is. Pause it. Look at the distance. Goodness me. I can't believe it. This is Maguire. Look at the distance between he and Carlos Casemiro. And look at the huge gap that the attacker has to go and attack. As to what he was doing there, only God knows. There was no way he was going to block this cross. So the movement should have been, let me backpedal and allow Wan-Bissaka, Kobe Menu to get close up and see whether they could block the cross. He didn't do that. And the striker too was very smart. Sims was very, all he needed to do was to position himself where Maguire had vacated. And that means that any genuine contact on the ball, his goal. Look at Dalot is calling. Bang. Look at where Maguire is. Look at the gap between Maguire and Carlos Casemiro. Casemiro is learning to play with you as a center back. Look at what is he doing there? What is he doing there? I think, look, the tactical arrangement of the United defense was at fault for this goal. So that is, again, where is the next one?
It's above Sims.
This one? Yeah, this one here. There we go. See, at this stage, Crystal Palace, Coventry knew that the next goal would make this even more beautiful and more appetizing. And you could tell from, I think, Martin Tyler, he was the commentator on the day, and he kept saying that this is what the FA Cup is all about. The FA Cup, again, is giving us what? A spectacle. Now, although it was a wicked deflection, but the recovery, Casemiro here completely gassed out. United needed somebody to close up. Look at him. He's giving him every room to pass the ball. The pass went, nobody closing him down. Wan-Bissaka, how can a defender be turning his back like this in blocking the ball? Look at Wan-Bissaka. Everybody watch him. Look at him. If this were the days of John Terry, Ricardo Carvalho, Vidic, Rio Ferdinand, they will be throwing themselves, the likes of Cannavaro and Co. They'll be blocking that ball all day. But look at what Wan-Bissaka does. He turned his back. Watch him. How do you block the ball like that?
Yeah. In fact, if you have I think the attacker was even held by the deflection. And the ball deflected off Wan-Bissaka's back.
Because that was the wrong... If he had done this, that ball repels and returns back to where it was coming from. Yeah. But once you do this, it climbs off you and then dip into the back of the net. And I've seen
even instances where defenders have turned their back like this, and the striker fakes like he's going to shoot. He damages you and then he goes around
into the back of the net. So again, see, look, United were very lucky to have navigated this game on penalties. We don't have the highlight of the disallowed goal. But look, truth be told, it was an offside position. But they were lucky because if Wan-Bissaka, who attempted to play on the four-liner, had gone another step backwards, would have been saying Man City, Coventry into the final of the FA Cup. So this was how it all transpired. We need to learn from that. If you're a defender, don't do this. Don't move away from your defensive partner if you are not in possession of the ball.
So a few nuggets for defenders, coaches, upcoming students of the game from Coach there. Let's take our second break here on the show. When we come back, we have another tactical breakdown for you in that game between Fulham Football Club and Liverpool. Stay with us here on Scorecard. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Scorecard here on Citi TV. Let's get right into the highlights and let's get to that game at Craven Cottage between Fulham Football Club and Liverpool. Liverpool had been struggling for a bit, had been winless for a while as well, and so they needed to respond after getting dumped out of Europe by Atalanta, and respond they did. So some really good goals there. Let's get to the tactical board and let's see how it broke down.
Yeah, I think all the Liverpool goals worth a bit of tactical talking. Look, at this stage, this is Alexander-Arnold, okay? The goalkeeper has done everything right. When you're a goalkeeper and there's a set piece directly in the middle like that, obviously you cannot take charge of the whole goalpost. It's too big a goal for you to take charge. So he places the wall on one direction.
And then he stands in the other.
And then he stands in another direction. He's telling Alexander-Arnold, you've got two options to take. Show me how good you are technically by hitting the ball over
and then
the wall and down. Or, if you like, come to where I am. And for every young player out there, you should do exactly what Alexander-Arnold did. But these things don't come on a silver platter. You need to practice them over and over again and again. In the modern era, there are monuments that are put there at the training ground to represent
a human dummy, like a dummy wall.
Exactly. And players are asked to practice. Arnold, we all know, is a very good technical man when it comes to distributing the ball and hitting the ball. So he did exactly that. He picked his spot away from the goalkeeper, and then he went up and down into the wall. Absolutely brilliant. I think this is world class.
This is
world class.
It's so clean.
It's absolutely clean. Yeah. So pick your spot, the preferable spot, move away from the goalkeeper, go over and down, over the wall and down. And normally when the distance, this was a very favorable distance. If it was closer, it makes it more difficult. So you see that if the free kick is closer, the players don't go over the wall. They target the goalkeeper and hit direct with power. And most often, it ends up in the back of the net. So that was Alexander-Arnold's goal. Now, the Castagna equalizing goal. I think Liverpool themselves didn't deal with the crossway, and the biggest culprit here was what? Robertson. You should be heading the ball away, not going to impede the player. Yes, we know it is the player who had, but if he knew there was another Fulham player behind him, maybe it would have been better for him to head the ball away. He didn't do that, and they were in 6s and 7s. And Alisson was hoping. You can see look, I like what Robertson did. Once he fumbled with it the first time, you can see him. He was throwing his body on the line to try and see whether he would block the ball. He didn't do what Wan-Bissaka. This was his first error in trying to impede. But watch him. He headed. They look at him diving. You see what he did? He was so unlucky. He would have amended whatever error he had committed at the beginning. So that is what you need to do. When it comes to this stage, put your bodies on the line if you are a defender. Then we went to my good Nigerian brother, Alex Iwobi. Under no pressure. I don't know what he was thinking about. How can you give the ball away? Okay, maybe we didn't see it that way, but beautiful goal by
almost like an assist.
Almost like an assist. He gave the ball away when we least expected him. Okay, we saw that in the highlight, but on the tactical board, but the only tactical thing here, I've always said this, is the arc. Look, the man, he's not looking at the goalpost.
Nope.
He keeps his eye on the ball. Once he controls the ball into
he knows
the arc,
where he stands.
He knows where he stands. He knows where the goalpost is. Pick your spot away from the goalkeeper. But if you look at the starting position of the goalkeeper, Leno, I think he had moved for which every goalkeeper should do. So it was shocking to me. The normal, when you move forward, you narrow the angle. So it was shocking to me that although he did that, he just couldn't make the save.
Yeah, that's well placed.
That is well placed by Gravenberch. And look, Liverpool needed this to tell Man City and tell Arsenal that they are in this till the very, very end. And of course, the icing on the cake. I think he's a player that Liverpool have missed. I think that if he had been fit, Liverpool would have been runaway champions by now. Because if you look at the Liverpool trajectory in recent times, in terms of goals, chances that have been wasted, Darwin Núñez, Mohamed Salah, Luis Diaz, all of them, you can mention them, all of them. If Jota had been fit, I think he would have been the difference or the storyteller here. So look at that. He got on the ball, he saw the gap, and then he went straight for it, passed, and then he went across. Look at what he did. Pause it here. You see, every attacker here, if he had given the ball any form of height, Leno makes the saves. He kept the ball on the turf, meaning that by the time Leno could adjust and come down, the ball was already gone. And that is how you put these things in the back of the net. So if you're a young player and you are watching, these are the sort of things that you should be learning how to execute when you are training.
Coach, hold it right there. Let's get to another game that was really interesting this weekend. It was Arsenal Football Club against Wolves. This was a game Arsenal needed to win. Remember, they had also been dumped out of Europe. Tricky game at the Molineux. They came out with all 3 points and a clean sheet. So very difficult game, not the most aesthetically pleasing game you would have wanted to watch, but I'm sure Arsenal don't care at this point. They just want to get their 3 points and keep it moving. Edwin, we mentioned that this was one of very tricky away games they had to play. They've navigated the first one. They have 2 more difficult away games. What did you make of this one?
Look, just like the Liverpool game that we just saw, Arsenal needed this win. And it's important when you are up against Man City, when they have the advantage, you need to put pressure on them. And that's all they can do. Ensure that they force Man City to be perfect. Man City might not win every single game, but you as Arsenal, you don't know that. What you can do is win every single day.
Do your bit.
Do your bit and force City to be perfect. And in this game, they weren't at their very best, but they still got the job done. 2 goals, a clean sheet. There are a couple of things that worry me about this Arsenal team, though. First of all, the errors. Errors are starting to crop up into this Arsenal team. We saw the chance with Kivior. That Kivior allowed Joao Gomez in the first half. But then there's also Saliba giving the ball away. We didn't see that chance. Usually, Gabriel Magalhaes, who's usually very solid, giving the ball away. Zinchenko comes in, he gives the ball away. In midfield, Jorginho gives the ball away. We are seeing errors pop up in this Arsenal team, and teams are starting to take advantage. In the Bayern ties across both legs, errors were defensive breakdowns.
All the goals, all the 3 goals they conceded.
Gave up by their defense or players in that squad. So if they want to actually take on Manchester City, take on Liverpool, you need to cut these things out. And again, up front, usually Arsenal are very solid. But in this game in particular, we saw how bad some of the decisions they took were. Players who could have crossed in. It's almost shades of Chelsea.
Is this the late game or late season pressure getting to them? Especially having been dumped out of Europe. Now it's almost like they feel like the league is where all their eggs have been placed.
It might be, and exactly as you put it, they've been dumped out of Europe. It was either the Champions League or the Premier League. The Champions League is obviously gone. Now the Premier League, if they don't win it, it's another season where the talk is Arsenal were close and they bottled it. Because Arsenal have been top of the league. I think it was last week where they were top of the league.
Yep.
Yeah. And they've gone back, allowed Man City to take advantage. If they don't win it this season, a lot more pressure on Arteta. Because 100 million plus for Declan Rice.
Yep.
People are not going to take that lightly.
You know the irony? Arsenal fans are beginning to turn on Declan Rice. In the last 2 games I have watched, they don't seem happy with his output. The Bayern away leg, and then even this game, some people say that he makes their midfield very rigid and very hard to sort of construct opportunities out of.
I beg to differ. I think by far he's been their best player.
I think in his signing of the season.
Of course, but in his role, what do you expect him to do? He's not there to create chances for anybody.
Nope.
But he's there to win the ball and let the team be liberated. And nobody have done that better than him in the entire league all season. He's single-handedly, I think he's played in every league match. I don't know of a league match where he's not played in. He's played in every league match. And I think, look, he's given back to them what they requested or what they went for him for. I think he's done his job. The rest will have to step up. If you are playing against, which of the games did they lose? And
where
they
was
could clearly look at it, say it was Declan Rice's fault. That is so unfair, and they have to encourage them. Look, they are still in this, though.
Yeah.
They are still in it. Don't begin to apportion blame when you are not out of it completely. They are still in it. Who knows? Man City, I think the game that...
Talk to me about that Chelsea game. There's a crucial game in midweek. Let's just preview that game for what it's worth.
Arsenal will be playing Chelsea, I think, on Tuesday. And then they will play Spurs over the weekend. I think if they can navigate those 2 games, they're going to take it all the way to the last day. Because, you see, what they cannot afford to do is to more or less look at this Chelsea team and not respect them. Chelsea themselves will be hurting. And if there's any team that Chelsea want to stop from winning the league, it's Arsenal. Because they're all in the same town. They're all in the same city. Spurs are eagerly waiting to have a say over the weekend. So Arsenal are playing people or are playing teams who don't really like them.
This is such a bad time for Arsenal to be playing this kind of
games. It is. And once they do that, there's a United Old Trafford game too that they expect to go and play. So they better stay focused. But look, they are at the Emirates. It's against Chelsea. You want to fancy them. If they don't win that game against Chelsea, they have no business whatsoever considering themselves as potential league champions. So it's a must-win game for them. A game, I think, if they show up like they've done until the Aston Villa game, I expect them to win.
Okay, let's do some Bundesliga action now. It's been wrapped up. Bayer Leverkusen have won the title. They were up today again, and I don't know what's up with Bayer Leverkusen, guys. They seem hell-bent on holding on to this unbeaten run. So this weekend, they were up against Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund had scored. It was looking like Dortmund were going to win the game. And then in injury time, I think it was 90+8 or something like that, they picked out a win out of nowhere, or a draw out of nowhere, to make sure that that unbeaten run is intact. So let's get the highlights of that game. It's Bayer Leverkusen versus Dortmund. Check it out. I don't know how these guys are motivating themselves to keep going.
I think it is the unbeaten run that they want to keep.
Yeah.
At least.
You get the golden, in fact, so when you win the Bundesliga, you get the silver shield. When you do unbeaten, you get the golden version.
That would be, look, I think that in 40 years old, and for them to take away the golden shield, I think I want them to take that away. I really do want them. They deserve every bit.
After this game, I think they can go unbeaten in the league.
In this game, they had received the red card. They were shown a red card. I think the striker from Nigeria, he had been shown a red card. So they play, I think, the last 35 minutes of the game with the man down. But they were very dominant, very bossy, pushing making sure that they will keep their unbeaten run. And for me, I'm still very happy for Javi Alonso. He never played for any team I support, though. But he's a player I always admire. And as
Javi
a coach,
Alonso's had a street named after him in Leverkusen. So very, very big achievement for him. And I like the fact that, I mean, look, I would have wanted probably him to join Liverpool, maybe Real Madrid, depending on where the chips fell for him. But it's very important that he decided that he's going to be patient and he's going to enjoy his success. I mean, you don't just win a Bundesliga with Bayer Leverkusen, go to the Champions League, and then leave it all behind.
Yeah, I think he's still very young as a manager. So he's still experimenting his philosophy. He cannot say, because this is the very first time. This is his first full season. So it will be very unfair for him to say, look, after one full season,
I think I'm big
I'm still not done experimenting. This whatever I've done for Leverkusen, they will allow me to implement and test all my methods. Because the patience they will have for him, Liverpool, Real Madrid will not have that.
And they have the privilege of going to the Champions League with him as their head coach as well. Let's finish off the day with El Clasico. It was really, really dramatic. Barcelona took the lead very early on in the game. Real Madrid, some way, somehow managed to get back in it. And then guess who decided the game in time added on? Jude Bellingham. Lots of drama in this game. Let's get the highlights. Oh, boy. Look at that left-footed power driver from Jude Bellingham.
Proper technique. He knew if he had kept it down, the Barcelona defender and the goalkeeper would have blocked it. So he went for the roof. See, they go to school and they are taught. No, see, some of these things, you have to be of a certain, you need to be of a certain level when it comes to education.
Football IQ to be able to implement them.
Because he knew if it had gone down, they would have blocked it all day. So put it up. I saw in the You May Kiss the Cup game, 2005, that Accra House of Folk equalizing goal, Lawrence Ajatete, when he controlled the ball from the corner, he went for the roof.
That guy is such. I like the fact that you mentioned that. He's such an underrated name in Ghanaian, like Ghana Premier League.
But he was a proper midfielder.
Fantastic
so
player.
Look, Jude Bellingham, I think, is the third
classical goal
to have done back to back.
He scored twice in the first leg. He scored once again.
And they were all winning goals.
First leg was 92nd minute winner. This one 91st minute winner.
So. This guy. I mean, we know standards are falling, but the reports say that he's leading the race to win the Ballon d'Or come the end of the year.
On the face of what we've seen, he's the obvious winner.
Mbappe will have to win the Euros to upset that.
On the Ballon d'Or, fine. Bellingham is favourites. If Real Madrid win the Champions League, yes, I think he gets it because Real Madrid are definitely going to win La Liga. But we can't forget about Harry Kane. Look, he's been fantastic in the Bundesliga, regardless of Bayern's form.
Are you going to give him a Ballon d'Or with a trophy?
No. I think they will have to win the Champions
League. Okay, fair.
In the Champions League, he's, I think, the top scorer or second top scorer. If
Bayern
wins it, you look
at him. And
then the Euros are coming. If he performs well with England, I think he wins. He's my favorite for now, but Bellingham obviously is.
Interesting thoughts there. That's how we'll bring the show down today on Scorecard. Thank you very much, Edwin Kwakofi. Thank you very much, Coach Christopher Nimley. Same time next week, Scorecard. We're back on your screens.